Bye bye. Off again. It's Wednesday. This is usually the day that I go out and do a wild camp, and today is no different. And all is well here on the south coast of Cornwall. I'm just walking past the Kingstown and Corsan villages, and I am planning to camp somewhere along here, which is Penley Point. And then I'm going to sit in a tent. Hope it doesn't get too windy because it's going to be blowing it at some point tonight, about 20-30 mile an hour winds on the coast. And I'm going to talk politics. Probably going to talk war again. Political ramblings, and today I'm going to be talking about Keir Starmer and war. And if you like my content, if you like my videos, I've been writing articles. If you like my articles or anything else I put on my social media, then please subscribe, like, retweet or repost. But most importantly, reply. Yeah, I want to hear from you. I want your replies. Let's have a conversation. The problem with Twitter, and we all know this, is it rewards spam. And my Twitter account is approaching 100,000 followers, and I'm fed up with spam, the same old memes, the same old videos, the same old statements, only to watch other accounts that Elon will support. Don't trust some of these accounts, some of these new accounts that have just appeared on Twitter, UK accounts, that have gained a massive following in no time at all for spamming and actual misinformation. Be careful. Twitter doesn't support original content, original ideas, things that people put an effort into. I spend an arm and a leg doing my campaign videos. I don't get anything back. Elon Musk says, Twitter's all about rewarding original content and good content, quality content. But actually, it just rewards people, aggressors and agitators and people who spam. And I'm determined just to put out quality content on Twitter that I've actually invested in and planned and thought about and put effort into and take pride in, rather than what I've done traditionally, which is just spam nonsense all the time. It's not always nonsense, and it's quite often true, but it doesn't require any thought, and it's soul destroying. So I'm quite happy to lose a little bit of engagement, and my Twitter account's monetized. It doesn't pay anything, pays hardly anything, but I'm happy to lose a little bit of that anything in order to provide quality content, and that's my intention going forward on Twitter. X, it's Twitter, isn't it? This is my final stop. I haven't travelled far. Lucy dropped me off. I thought it's a couple of miles. Just above from Kingstown and Corsan, called Penley Point. You can find it on the map. And this is me and Lucy's little secret camping spot. Right on the edge of the coast. I can see Plymouth. Plymouth is out in the distance there, so I get a great view. You get cityscape tonight. Boats come in and out. You see frigates. Where's the breakwater? I can't see it very well. It's there somewhere, so the breakwater is over there. And it's a fantastic little camping spot. Winds are going to be about 20 to 30 mile an hour in the morning, but I might even be protected from them. There are some dangerous trees. I don't know how well you can see that above. So look. So there's some dangerous trees there above me, up there. They're all being held up by what looks like rotten trees. So, and the soil as well is very loose, so it could be problematic in the morning with the wind. We'll find out. You see that tree there is fallen. This one here is rotten badly. There's nothing there holding on. I mean, it seems pretty solid. If you follow it all the way up, you can see there are trees resting on top of it, and then there are trees resting there on that tree. So I'm going to camp in behind it there, in there, and then that way, hopefully if the wind comes in and blows the trees off, they won't fall on top of me. Touch wood. I have many favourite spots, but I've got coffee and stuff. But this one, can I get a good angle with the camera? There we go. This one has to be one of my favourites. Down in Plymouth, staring right out across the Plymouth. Quality. You can hear maybe the wind outside. About 10-mile-an-hour winds at the moment. Tense, rock solid. So I'm happy about that. Although it is secured to a tree. And you can also hear the waves. They make more of the noise. It sounds really intense. Intense inside this tent. Well, last time I was camping, it was freezing. Nice and warm tonight. Joe Biden had just authorised ATACMS missiles. Keir Starmer had authorised Storm Shadow missiles. And there had been some strikes. It just happened. In fact, while I was out camping, allegedly ICBM missile was launched against Ukraine, or was hit Ukraine in the Dnepr, some industrial site. It's this new, the Oreshnik missile system. So that had just been launched. By the time we thought it was an ICBM, it turns out it's an IR, intermediate range ballistic missile. Although it's got 5,000 kilometre range, as opposed to our long range weapons that we're using, they only have 300 kilometre range. It's all in the language, and it's interesting. But anyway, this Oreshnik weapon system, hypersonic, goes above Mach 10, goes up into space, it has MIRVs, it has these other hypersonic glide vehicles that carry these MIRVs being multi-independent re-entry vehicles. And it can hit 36 targets, one missile. And Russia's got a stockpile of these, and they reckon they could build a couple of hundred every year. And there's no defence against it. And when they were used against this Ukrainian industrial site, they didn't carry any conventional or nuclear explosives. Purely kinetic energy used to take out this site. It's a shot over the head, as Gilbert Doctorow said. The Russians shoot over your head first. They warn you. So stop it. What did we do? In the last couple of days, there have been more Storm Shadows and more ATACMS missiles fired into mainland Russia, into the Kursk region. And I think most of them have been taken down. One or two maybe have got through or did some damage. Nothing significant besides the point. Our troops are firing those missiles, those weapons. They are our weapon systems. They're NATO supplied weapon systems. Gilbert Doctorow said, Russia shoots over the head first. Then they shoot you out the head. It's like, stop it, bang, shoot out the head. They've already told Britain to behave themselves in the last couple of days, to told us to behave. To Keir Starmer. Stupid twat that he is. Who is an irrational actor. On our domestic scene and on the global stage. He's irrational. Remember, he was the one asking Biden originally if we could fire Storm Shadow missiles into targets in Russia and Crimea. Britain's the number one target. And that the only reason that Russia won't strike us right now is because that we've got nuclear weapons, and not because Keir Starmer is an irrational actor. There's supposed to be a massive strike coming from Russia. Probably going to hit Ukraine. Probably going to use these Oreshnik weapons. Oreshnik means hazel tree in Russian. So Britain was number one. There are some American sites. Poland's number 2. And Ukraine, Kiev is number 4. Yet, in terms of priority, yet is the most likely place. We're literally at the top of the escalation ladder with these weapons. The only place that Russia could go after this is maybe use them further afield and hit American targets. Up the explosive, the damage that they cause. Which, nuclear weapons, isn't it? That's where the Russians have positioned themselves. So they've taken hold of the escalation ladder, and no doubt NATO are shaken by this. If everything that we've been told can be believed, but they're still firing missiles into Russia. And what I can't get my head around, and I said this last time,
is I don't understand it, because the worst case scenario for this situation is that we all die, and the ones who don't all die a bit later in a nuclear winter. Yeah? Mankind has to start again. As Einstein said, the next World War, the Fourth World War, will be fought with sticks and stones. What's the point in building all these wonderful cities and technology and everything that mankind has achieved and has the potential to achieve in the future, just to wipe it out by chucking a few, firecrackers at Russia? Because they're not doing anything. They're just pissing it off. But I don't think Russia's playing games. They've given up playing games. They mean it. I'm certain that they mean it. Situation is crazy. Donald Trump, by the way, has been silent. And he's had his goons like Sebastian Gorka out calling Putin a thug and making effective threats, saying if you don't agree with our negotiations, then we're going to supply Ukraine with more stuff, more weapons, troops. French and the English, the UK, we talk about putting troops in there. I could go on and on. Doesn't make any sense. That sound you can hear. It's like waves crashing against the rocks there, about 100 foot down, or about 30 meters down, and the wind sort of blowing through like little gullies that are at either side of me. It's like white noise. That's what it is. Brown noise. I think it's really, really good for things like concentration, improving your mental health, resolving anxiety, those types of things. Rivers are the same. A sound of a river rushing past you is the same. It's like a white noise or a brown noise. Yeah, I'll just be lying there at the moment in silence myself, listening to the waves, thinking about nuclear weapons. Because I'm a chemist. There are people out there who think that nuclear weapons don't exist. Well, I haven't seen one myself, up front, but the science and the maths, I've done the calculations myself, I've done them myself. They work out. You have a small amount of mass, you end up with a shitload of energy. That's what nuclear weapons are. The people say, it's just a threat that's been held over all of us. I understand that, a bit like the virus don't exist a lot. Nuclear weapons don't exist either. The virus and nuclear weapon deniers. There'll be a correlation in the middle. Virus deniers and nuclear weapon deniers. But they might have a thing. But the problem I have with that is, then Putin is bad guy. He's the same as everyone else. They're all establishment. They're all in it together. And that would mean we've got no chance. There's no hope for us at all. And I don't think that. I think Putin, not necessarily a good guy, but he's opposed to the bad guys that rule over us. So an enemy of an enemy is a friend, as they say. He could just call out the nuclear weapon bluff, the hoax, couldn't he? He could just call it out. It would end it overnight. And what's fake about them? Well, they don't go off, they don't bang. They're just, all the radiation. What's fake about nuclear weapons? I don't understand that. I don't understand why people, I get that, carpet bombing a city like they did with Tokyo and the big wooden cities in Japan, that can create huge devastation if you firebomb them. They would, wouldn't they? I think that's horrific. I think in one firebombing raid they killed 200,000 people, which is more than what was killed, at least in the instant of the nuclear weapons of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's often cited as the reason why nuclear weapons are fake. They say, they just firebombed them and then said it was a nuclear weapon. It was part of a nuclear test in New Mexico, South America. You see the building sort of fly away. They were just models and it wasn't a really nuclear explosion. I don't know how true that is. They look like big models that were just built to see what happens in an actual nuclear explosion. And Lucy has a friend, and her friend's granddad, I think it was, or an uncle, he actually stood on the deck of a warship and witnessed one of the explosions in the Pacific, the Bikini Atoll. Multi and bit of evidence said that they witnessed it themselves with their own eyes, and that they had to just turn around when it went off. Health and safety for nuclear tests in the 50s and 60s, So if they are fake, if they're not real, then that would have to be one of the biggest conspiracies on the planet, wouldn't it? Like they've always lied to us about nuclear weapons, but they don't exist. All the science that I've learned on chemistry and physics and the maths that I've done, that I got right, or at least I got marks for it in a test, was all fake, and that's all been made up. Somebody of a genius intellect way beyond a mere mortal like myself, or the other average people out there, has sat down and had to think of how they can fake the science of nuclear weapons. I reckon that's more difficult than fucking making a nuclear weapon in the first place. But we have to assume that they're real. The city, or ex-city, Plymouth, just in the distance, is what it would be a target, no doubt, for a Oreshnik hypersonic missile carrying a nuclear weapon. Have to assume it's real, don't we? Clouds ruining the sunrise, get a good sunrise here. And that's what I can see outside my tent. Over there is the Plymouth Breakwater. That's a mile long. And right at that hill, right in the distance, like a giant mountain, is Dartmoor. Actually, last week, that was capped with snow. And that was where I was sleeping last week. This time last week I was crapping my pants with about a foot of snow. So the winds are about 15 miles an hour. They're nowhere near as fast as they were predicted to be. I've seen more and more military activity, navy activity here in the Plymouth Sound. Looks like one of them's a British frigate, just going in behind the trees now. I'm not sure what nationality that is. It's like a corvette, coastal type vessel. I just got an email, and well, technology is great, isn't it? I could be out on a tent on the edge of a cliff with that. I can check my emails. UK Gov petitions. Keir Starmer's government, Labour government, are going to debate a general election in January. If we make it to January, going to debate a general election, which fucking I'm quite surprised. Pressure's massive. That petition's up to 2.8 million now, so it's still ticking upwards. It'll probably just about scrape over the 3 million mark, which is massive, isn't it? You know, 3 million people on one social media platform in one country have said they want another general election. Just a few, 150 odd days, 120 odd days, whatever it is, after Starmer got elected. Great. Yeah, so if we make it to January, they're going to debate it, and then they're not going to give us a general election, because that's going to be the outcome. They're not going to. Labour got a massive majority, so we've got to keep the pressure on. We've got to create more crises for Keir Starmer, because he looks lost. The soulless automaton that he is, globalist little pet that he is, the obedient servant. He looks a bit lost. He looks a bit out of his depth. I think it's starting to tell. He is, of course, human, and therefore only human, and so I reckon he's starting to feel the pressure. So we've got to keep it on. Let him know how hated he is. I'm going to pack my tent up, take some pictures, and then I'm going to walk down the Kingsand and Corsand and record some footage of those little quaint, traditional English seaside hamlets. I mean, they're barely villages. Peace. This camping site is actually fairly unsafe, to be honest. Right on the edge, and you can see that the ocean is slowly reclaiming this area. It's like a tiny little peninsula. Plus, the trees are rotting. They probably can't get the nutrients or water that they need, or it's very salty, and so they're all rotting and collapsing and falling down. So in windy conditions, I wouldn't come here. I have to start camping a little bit further in to the main body of this area, but it's amazing. Like when you look out of the tent at night, you can see all these trees and just like the silhouettes against the blackness, and it's quite creepy. It's good. Lucy likes it down here as well. So, but eventually I'll be lost to the sea, so it's pretty sad. We're a couple of miles out as well, so it's a great view of Plymouth, and it looks great at night. All the lights are sparkling and shining. So, okay, I'm going to walk into Kingsand and Corsand. I'm just going to show those little villages there. They have come on camera before, and then I'm going to go home and write some articles. I'm writing articles. I'm gathering some other people who are interested in writing articles. If you're interested in writing articles, DM me, and maybe we can get like the first X sort of citizen newspaper type thing going on, where it's specifically X articles. Hey, maybe even Elon will give us a boost rather than boosting the Indian bot farms that he's been boosting. Check out my articles. There is my old @Baron Plymouth Twitter account, X account. It's called DOP News at the moment, but that might change and go back to We Are the News or something else like that. So check that out. I've got about 6-7 people interested, maybe more. The more the merrier. And we'll see if we can get some actual stories out there from real people about things that actually matter. Genuine 25-mile-an-hour winds now, so I've packed down. We've got southerly winds coming in, which are always much stronger. I'm off to have a look at Kingstown and Cornish, get back to the secret Cornish Lino. First come. She took me here, funny enough. So, and it's a tiny little village, and it links straight into another village called Kingstown. And behind me, you sort of see it in this picturesque little village. That's Kingstown. Again, total population for these two little villages is probably under 1,000, and there's no commercial activity here at all other than the pubs. There's a shop, souvenir shops, fish and chips, I think, and holiday lets. So in the winter, there's places to hit, and it's how they like it apparently. I hope you enjoyed this video. Lucy's on her way to pick me up. I'm back on the main roads. I've got a car coming behind me. And until next time.